Jingle Bells, AC/DC i Rockklassiker. Det är Morronrock med Jonas och Anton och nu har det hänt igen. Det är fler människor i studion än som lyssnar. Vi har Hollywood actors här.
Ja, och vår kära producent på leder ut Ronny Svensson som bara håller på att flirta med Linda Blair som är i studion. Men jag förstår det, Ronny, det är helt okej.
Linda Blair, did you notice that our film critic tried to pick you up with that line?
He found out how much I love animals, and he found out how fabulous women are that love animals.
Exactly. His first line to Linda Blair from The Exorcist was, "Hi Linda, we've met actually. I'm newly divorced." Oh, okay.
Linda Blair från Exorcisten, you do in the World Heart Foundation. Tell us about that animal rights thing.
So people can look. It's lindablairworldheart.org on the internet, and it's one of the largest animal rescues in America. And of course, wherever I travel, whether it be Europe, I just got back from Australia, and other places, we talk about animal welfare. It's for basically human and animal welfare. So I talk about food, the environment, the planet, and but my rescue is to save the animals. Of course, in America, we have so many problems with the economy that people had to give up their animals, and it's not a pet, a dog, or a cat's fault that they have no home. So I do what I can. So that's
why you travel with these two animals.
That's why, yes. True.
We have David Prowse, Darth Vader, and we have Sylvester McCoy, Doctor Who. And Linda, where were you back in whenever this was, when Sylvester actually because you've broken a world record. What is it, Sylvester?
Well, many world records. I mean, Doctor Who's broken a world record, the longest science fiction program. But I broke the world record for having ferret down my trousers. Yes, and also for being handcuffed and put in a mailbag and escaping from, that.
In the longest amount of time, or?
In the short. Well, no, in fact, we kept trying to break the record, but I never got out in time. And I used to go in wearing a pair of underpants and chains and handcuffs and everything else, and I come out triumphant with all of it eventually, not realising I had my underpants in my hands as well. There weren't even Claudia Schiffer's ones, they were mine.
But the ferret had nothing to do with that record attempt. You had
the ferret was all part of the same show.
Okay, you did all this at once.
We did everything. I used to set light to my head, explode a bomb in my chest, bang a nail at my nose, mentally combust cotton wool. I could throw a potato up into the air and headbutt it into 1,000 pieces. Regular entertainment, really.
But you stuffed ferrets down your trousers. I mean, when you did this, were you high?
Well, it was the 60s. I think everybody was high.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Except for President Carter. I mean, he didn't inhale. But, I mean, everyone else was inhaling like mad. But
you're doing this science fiction convention tomorrow and Sunday at Stockholmsmässan. What's the most common question that you get, David Prowse, Darth Vader?
How did you get the role of Darth Vader?
And what do you answer?
It's quite a long story, I guess.
Go on. Yeah. Come on.
And then they regret.
I just got a phone call from a very good friend of mine who was managing director of 20th Century Fox, and he said I've got a gentleman in my office here called George Lucas who wants to see you, and he said, would you like to come up to the 20th Century Fox offices in Soho to have a chat? So off I went to the 20th Century Fox offices and met up with George, and he took me into a very large room, and all the way around the room was conceptual drawings from this film he was doing, a film called Star Wars.
And he actually saw you in Clockwork Orange.
I'll come into that if you don't mind me waiting. So the first thing I said to George, I said, "Excuse me asking you." I said, "How did you know about me?" He said, "I saw you in Clockwork Orange." He said, "If you're good enough for Stanley Kubrick, you're good enough for me." And then he said, "Well, the part." He said, "I'd like to offer you one of two parts in this film I'm doing." And I said, "Well, what are the two parts?" He said, "Well, the first one's a character called Chewbacca." I said, "What the hell's Chewbacca?" And he said, "Like a hairy gorilla that goes through the film on the side of the goodies."
Typecasting.
And all I could think of was 3 months in a gorilla skin. I thought how hot and sweaty that's going to be, how uncomfortable it was going to be. So I thought, no, you can keep that one, George. And I said, what's the other one? He said, well, the other one's the big villain of the film. I said, don't say anymore. I'll have the big villain's part. Thank you very much. He said, tell me for why. And I said, if you think back on all the movies you've ever seen where there are good guys and bad guys, I said, you always remember the bad guy. Yeah. And he said, Dave, you've made a very wise decision. He said, because nobody will ever forget Darth Vader. And here we are 40 years later.
And nobody's
around the world on the back of Darth, as it were. Yeah.
We'll never forget this either. And have a great stay in Sweden. And hopefully a lot of people will come and ask
keep our
just
fingers
that
crossed.
question this weekend. Probably.
Good Lord. No, come up with new ones.
Lovely.
David Prowse, Darth Vader, vi har Linda Blair från Exorcisten och Sylvester McCoy som är självaste Doctor Who. Thank you so much once again, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please come back. Please come back.
Love
Please.
to. Love to.